Hello everyone. The topic for today's video is providing a framework that I've used to think through major career decisions. As I've transitioned from the United States Marine Corps into the oil and gas business, from oil and gas back to the world of a full-time student, and then most recently transitioning from the corporate environment into being a small business owner. And I want to say first, before I dive into this, that this isn't coming from a place of I'm about to become some business coach or some self-help guru or anything like that. It's really me just kind of providing something that I've learned along the way in case it's helpful to others, and it's something I've formulated over time by, screwing some stuff up, getting some things right, but just being really reflective and intentional about how I think about these sorts of things. And so let's dive right into what that is. When I think about these big career decisions, I think about it in the terms of trading on the currency of challenges. And what I mean by that is that when we make a change in our career or in our life, what we're doing is trading a set of challenges in one area for a set of challenges in another area. And the old cliche, the old adage, grass is always greener, kind of comes to mind, right? And we all know that that's not really entirely true, but the reason cliches are sort of timeless is that there's some truth to them. And I think when people say things like the grass is always greener, what they're really referring to is, in whatever world you're in right now, career-wise, you're facing some primary challenge or a couple of really big key challenges. And when you say the grass is always greener, I think what people mean is you're going to solve for those couple of challenges. But what that cliche sort of fails to incorporate is, well, a lot of things that you're dealing with in your life now, in your professional life, may not be challenges, but when you make this big change, they may be, right? So let me provide an example. When I transitioned from the corporate world into the small business ownership world, one of the big challenges I found in the corporate world, and having been a part of 3 global organizations throughout my career to this point, I found this sort of similarity across all of them, that they're very large, very hierarchical, and it's really hard to feel, as somebody who's closer to the front line than they are the top of the organization, it's hard to feel like the work that you do, there's a real cause and effect to it. It's hard to feel the impact of your work and see that on a regular basis. So that was a big challenge that I was interested in solving for. Okay, so enter the small business ownership world. Primary challenge there is, okay, well, there's a lot of risk and uncertainty, not to mention we're in the middle of a global pandemic, so that layers on additional complexity, but now all of a sudden the employees are looking to me to make sure that they have a paycheck. I have to keep the lights on, right? Some of these big challenges I have to solve for. So the goal in my mind, as we evaluate the challenges we face in our current role or current company versus what else is out there, the goal is to continually find ways to align ourselves with challenges that we're more interested in solving for, more interested in finding solutions for and working with on a regular basis. And that was thinking through that framework is what helped me make this decision to move into the world of small business ownership, because it's rife with challenges. I'll be working harder than I've ever worked in my professional career, but the challenges to me are more interesting, and I find I'm just more interested in thinking about those and solving for those. How do I go find a new client? How do I drive sales? How do we think about our distribution model in a different way? Those, to me, thinking about those challenges for a small business are really intellectually stimulating, and I enjoy thinking through those. So let's talk about how can you practically apply some of this, right? It's very simple, right? I'm sure you've probably already figured that out by this point in the video, but just bear with me. It really comes down to kind of a basic pro and con list. It's sort of your traditional, let's list out the challenges that we are facing right now in our current role. Let's list out the challenges in the new role, and let's compare those 2 lists. Let's also think about what in our life, in our professional life right now, is good, right? What's fine? What's something that we don't really have to put a lot of thought or invest a lot of resources into? And sometimes those are a little bit hard to think through because we don't put any resources into them. We don't have to put a lot of thought into them. So it's hard to kind of pinpoint maybe what would be a challenge in my new world that is not a challenge in my current world. And so my best advice would be just trying, to the extent that you can, list out what are the challenges in your current role, what will be the challenges in your new role. That's sort of the entry point here. From there, where it gets really interesting is run this list in front of, put it in front of a lot of your friends, put it in front of your mentors, your family, people who are close to you and know you. And most importantly, your friend who is the most direct, who's the person who is not going to pull any punches, is going to tell you exactly what's on their mind, exactly how they feel. That person is your best ally in the situation, because we all have an inherent bias to look at things through a bit of a rose-colored lens, right? We think about, oh, there aren't going to be that many challenges what I'm about to do. Probably not the case. There are probably going to be a lot of challenges. You just maybe aren't thinking about those because you're excited, right? You should be about maybe making a new change. So you don't necessarily pinpoint all the things that could be the challenges that you have to solve for. And then I think it's important to say also too that as we think about challenges are not a bad thing. That's what causes growth. That's what helps us set our goals in our lives and through our careers. So very simple framework, very simple application, just something to kind of hopefully help you frame up any big decisions that you're working toward. So one other thing that I want to kind of leave you with, if you're interested in exploring some more on the career front, there's a really cool podcast out there called The Anxious Achiever. And I was fortunate enough to sit with the host, Moira Aarons-Milley, not that long ago on one of the episodes, and talk with her a little bit about my career and the transitions I've faced and how I'm sort of evaluating the future. So a little bit of a shameless plug here. I'll put a link in either my bio, or if you're on Facebook, in the description of this video. So I hope this is helpful. If it is, let me know. If you have any questions about it, let's talk about those. And I hope, again, this is something that you found valuable. And I'm not quite sure what the content for the next video will be, but stay tuned. It may just be a sort of catch up, been at the business for a few weeks, kind of giving you a debrief on what's happening, challenges I'm facing, what's going well, what's not, and just kind of bringing everyone up to speed to the extent that I can. So hope you all have a great weekend. Talk to you soon.